begin our order of services, okay? O Yehovah, our great and awesome God, the God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we thank you so much for this day, in which is our day of remembrance, where we remember your deliverance of our people with Moses and also with Yeshua, our Passover lamb. And we thank you that each of us is here, and we pray that you will bless each of us in our hearts, strengthen us and encourage us, and teach us about this time as we look into your word, and bless our fellowship together and help us to strengthen each other and encourage each other as well. In the name of our Messiah, Yeshua, amen.
Amen.
So you have an idea, please.
We need to scooch closer together like we do. Okay.
Want to move down? Oh, they moved
Yeah,
down.
no, you guys
Easier
stay
for us to move closer to you. Yeah, that's fine.
I told you, close out that to the wall. Right out there.
Closer.
You want to take that one off of there if you want. If you want to make your
That is also
work,
one
that's
you
definitely
have.
part of the family.
There now? Okay, that's fine.
That's what my mom used to say. You're here once, but then you start to work in part of the family. And you wear yourself.
Good deal. All right, so now everyone should have in your hands a Passover Haggadah that I put together. This is my own version. I found about 15. Hayden stapled them, so the ones that have the staple on the right-hand corner are the ones that Hayden stapled
He's being
together.
Hebrew.
Yeah, and Daddy stapled them on the left, so you might have a special one that's been stapled by
I got this one.
Isn't that nice? So this one is a combination of a lot of different ones, okay? There are lots of different orders of the Seder all over the internet with lots of different...
Bring it in. Where do I put it?
yeah, I'll do that. We'll do that in a little bit. It doesn't have to be first. Right, we haven't done it yet. It's okay. So there are lots of different Passover Seders. Now the Seder is just an order of service, and this is the order of service. I have chosen and selected from a bunch of different ones that put together, I think, best for us and what it represents for us and our Messiah and all that stuff. So this one I just built for ourselves. And I have here as number 1 to remove the leaven from the home, okay? We're going to skip that part for now, and we'll do that later on. And once the sun goes down and we have eaten, we'll then do the leaven removal with the children.
I already know what you've done.
You know it all, don't you?
Just like last year.
The more you learn, then you can
That's
start
right.
teaching.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you remembered from last year. That's awesome.
No, I remember.
Okay, so we will skip number 1 until a little bit later in the order of service when we'll do our Passover. Now our candles. Did we remove the candles and put them somewhere else?
Right behind us.
Oh, Johnson, you want to grab those? We will light our holiday candles.
Where are you going to put them? Down there in the middle of the table?
Yeah.
Sure, we'll put them down here so that they're out of the way and they don't burn anybody. Now, as Angela lights the candles, we will all recite what is written here. And it is, I'm just going to read it to you first. Blessed art thou, O Yehovah, our Elohim, who commanded us to be a light to the nations and gave us Yeshua, the light of the world, okay? So you go ahead and light and we will recite. Blessed art thou, O Yehovah, our Elohim, who commanded us to be a light to the nations and gave us Yeshua, the light of the world. Excellent. Thank you very much, Miss Angie. Now, we will take, and Johnson, if you will assist me, we will pass out wine glasses to you. We're about to begin our first wine opening. Now, does anyone have a preference for Merlot or Merlot?
How about in between? Clarence popped one of those corks the other night and it hit, who would it hit? Johnny's friend right in the chest, man. Ow, scared everybody to
Now, I'm going to take these bottles and just distribute them along the table, okay? Now, I'm going to caution you that if you are a non-drinker like me, you can very quickly become inebriated. So, if you want to be extra cautious, we're going to be drinking 4 cups during our Seder. And but you can, when I say cup, it doesn't have to be a full cup. If you want to just take it easy, give yourself a little bit in there, and that's your first cup. Okay, so I myself, because I know that if I have 2 glasses of wine, I will be feeling fine, but not over the top. So I know that my limit is 2 glasses of wine. So I hope you have that figured out for yourselves. But just kind of take it easy and judge for yourselves.
I have pretend things.
I have coffee.
You're just starting to struggle.
He's probably old enough to have coffee.
And Angela has the special wine for the children.
Do you need more glasses down there?
It's not one.
It looks like we're just.
There's only a 12% difference between ours and yours.
That was old.
It makes a difference too.
It does make a difference.
Difference is,
The difference is the alcohol.
this one
Thank you.
fine, that one.
The light is
Your head's up.
Now we've got Clos du Bois, which is a little bit drier. You may prefer that. We also have Robert Mondavi, which is just not quite as dry. They're both a very good Merlot. So I'll put 2.
Who's
I'll put
Robert
one
Mondavi?
down here.
He's a wine crafter.
And that's the dry one.
Crafter of wine, like a Minecrafter, but he's a wine crafter.
Yeah.
The blue. That's the dry one, right?
Yeah,
the dry
the Clos du Bois is really
Dry.
good.
What
and
did we
the
have the other night when they were here? Was it
That was the Clos du Bois, yeah.
Oh, it was.
That was pretty good.
They're both good.
They're both very good, but you might like the Clos du Bois just a little bit more. Here's some Robert Mondavi Coastal Reserve.
I'm taking the one on.
We're a wine tasting contest.
They always hide the percentage on these bottles.
We'll talk about that, Evan. Good question.
Pour yourself some,
Coffee.
because we'll have to drink the first cup.
Roll that up so you gotta get the coffee. Let's roll it up.
Took a thing there, potato. See what? Well, they got started, they always had the bottle empty.
Okay, then, we can do it.
Okay,
I have another coffee.
we're gonna start on
Do we
wine.
have to drink it all? Okay.
Yeah, if you are an alcoholic, I apologize.
You don't get in.
Be careful.
Move down with the children.
Yeah, go sit down with the children. So I'm gonna take I'm gonna start with about a quarter of a glass. That'll be my first cup. So according to our first one, we have the cup of sanctification, okay? And here's our recitation. You can see.
Order this stuff.
You can just take a sip. That's okay. You don't have to drink 4 glasses of grape juice. It's totally okay. So before we drink the first cup of sanctification,
I wanna get it over with.
yeah, it's coming. Just hold your pants. Okay, we will say these words together in bold, starting with "Blessed art thou." Okay, you ready? Yep. Blessed art thou, O Yehovah, our Elohim, who creates the fruit of the vine. Blessed art thou, O Yehovah, our Elohim, who causes us out of all peoples. Blessed art thou, O Yehovah, our Elohim, who has given us life to see this time. Drink your wine.
Time.
Yay, great views.
L'chaim. To life.
That
Excellent.
reminds me of what my cousin did in Arkansas.
Now we are on to,
Hungry.
yeah, if you really like the grape juice, you can just drink it all. That's good for you.
Who's that?
Oh, yes, thank you, sir.
It's good too.
Now, we will dip the bitter herbs. Everyone should have one of these little green bunches. Hey, Evan, do you know what these little green bunches are?
Rocks.
No, it's not. It's actually parsley. And it's considered a bitter herb, okay? Now, we are going to dip this bitter herb in salt water as a reminder of the tears that we cried when we were slaves in Egypt. So everyone, you'll find a little bowl on your table here somewhere that looks like this. And you just dip it in here like this, and you're going to take a bite. Are you ready? It's not bad.
Salty.
The salt water reminds us of the bitter tears that we shed while we were slaves. That is exactly the reaction we were looking for. That is, Chancellor, that's awesome. That is precisely what we were going for.
Man, that tastes bitter already.
So that reminds us of the bitterness of slavery and how we were treated terribly by the Egyptians when we were slaves in Egypt. And the salt water reminds us of our tears. So we have a little bitterness. The Bible commands us to have bitter herbs with this meal. We're not going to eat a lot of them. Just a little bite, okay, kids?
Makes sense. It tastes like tears.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the Seder symbols, okay? Does everyone have some matzah?
Let's get some.
Take a look at some matzah. You can take a look at it, or you can pick up a piece and touch it,
You want to reach.
or take a piece that you intend to eat or something like that.
The cracker.
We're going to be talking about the Seder symbols.
Thank you.
Good job, Evan. You don't have to eat it if you don't want to. We're just kind of looking at it for a minute and talking about it.
I want to eat it now.
You can take a bite if you like. Now this is the matzah bread, okay? Because we left Egypt in such a hurry, we had lumps of dough, but we didn't have time for it to sit and get air into it because of yeast to rise so that it would be fluffy bread. We were in such a hurry that we just took our lumps of dough and we cooked them on the way, and it was flat bread, unleavened bread, just like this. And so this is also called the bread of haste because we were in a hurry. So that's what this represents from our travels out of Egypt. Now, if you look at the next thing, I'll touch this myself. Or I could have Angie do it.
No.
It's cooked though.
Yes. What is this, Hayden?
Meat.
Yes, there is some meat on it, but what is underneath the meat?
Bones.
Bone. Okay, this is the shank bone of a lamb. This shank bone of a lamb reminds us about the lambs that we killed in Egypt to place their blood on our doorposts so that the destroying angel of Yehovah would pass over our houses. Yes, Evan?
Because of the blood of innocent goats.
No, it wasn't goats, it was sheep. A lamb. Sorry.
Innocent blood of a lamb reminds death angel that we have that blood.
We do have blood, yes.
Telling that story last week.
Hayden?
Looks like you overcooked your demonstration shank bone.
On purpose. So we would take the blood of those lambs that we killed in Egypt and place them on our doorposts so that the destroyer of Yehovah would pass over our homes as it was moving through Egypt and killing all of the firstborn. We were safe inside of our houses because of the lambs that we killed. Now, I don't know if you kids realize this, or maybe even some of you adults, but the lamb was one of the gods of the Egyptians.
Yes.
That's how New Testament.
That was dangerous for us. And you know what? Yehovah told us, you can't go in your backyard and kill your lamb. You have to do it in your front yard so that all your neighbors can see. And he wanted, that was kind of a dangerous proposition to go out in the front of our street and kill the god of the Egyptians while they were watching, roast their god, eat their god, and place the blood of their god on our doorposts. That was pretty offensive to them.
That was sacrilegious to them.
That was sacrilegious to them. It was also a little bit dangerous for us, but we did what our God commanded us. Now, the green herbs that we just tasted, and you've already had your bitter herbs, these represent The hyssop sometimes is referred to the hyssop that they use to paint the blood on the door. And it also reminds us of our bitterness and our suffering while we were in Egypt. Now this here is, and you can probably see some of this stuff on your plates over there, is a mixture of apples and nuts. It's called, can you?
Right there.
Yeah, it's a mixture, and you can try some if you like. You can take a little bit of your matzah and dip it in that. That's called caroset. Can you kids say caroset?
Corsets.
Very nice. It means mortar. What is mortar used for?
Murder.
Mortar.
Murder.
Not murder, mortar. Come on, Mr. Minecrafter, what do you use mortar for?
Bill.
To build with bricks. That's the stuff that goes between the bricks to hold them together. So this reminds us, cement, yeah, like cement. This reminds us of the mortar that we used to stick the bricks together when we built the cities of Pithom and Ramesses that the Pharaoh made us create. Now we had a roasted egg,
We had.
but it exploded in the fire. Now, the roasted egg reminds us of the hardness of Pharaoh's heart. He refused to let us leave. Now that egg exploded. That is unfortunate for Pharaoh.
Yeah, so did the Pharaoh.
His heart exploded. And the salt water we have already demonstrated reminds us of our tears that we were crying in our slavery. But there's one other thing that it reminds us of, and that is our baptism. Going through the Red Sea, which is a sea of salt water. So that salty water reminds us of our baptism in the Red Sea and also of our bitterness of our tears, okay? Now, I have here, I'm going to show you something.
We want this.
I'm going to show you something that has been happening with the people of Egypt, the people of Israel, for thousands of years. We take 3 pieces of matzah, and sometimes they have a little special holder that holds the matzah. Okay, now there's 3 pieces of matzah in it. Sometimes it's in a special bag, sometimes you can just fold it up in a cloth. And this represents 3 things. There's one on top, there's one in the middle, and one on the bottom. Now these things represent our Father, our God, Yehovah, His Son, Yeshua, and His Holy Spirit. There are 3 kind of parts of the same God. Now, what we do is we take the center portion, which represents the Son of God, and we break it.
Whoa.
Body was so.
We break the center matzah. And then we take our piece of center matzah and we put it in its own special cloth. And we then, it becomes what is called the afikomen. Does anyone know what afikomen means? I think we just had a review of this on our teachings the other night, didn't we?
How does it mean?
It means, I have come. So we take the afikomen and we give it to one of the members who will take this afikomen and hide it. I'm going to give it to Captain Smile. Because
Oh,
he
no.
is a good hider.
No, not him.
Doesn't have to be-
Have long hiding.
Yay, hide
He's going to take that and he's going to hide it. And later on, you kids are going to have to find it. Now, we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. Chancellor,
I love hide and seek.
do you love hide and seek?
This is with
That's
a
awesome.
He's
I'm
crying,
glad
not
you
another
do.
person.
So, the afikomen is going to be buried under a pillow, which represents a stone. And then we're going to search for it, and it's going to rise again. And it's going to go to a high place in our house, which is like overlooking us.
That's
You know where we're going to put it?
Upstairs.
We're going to search for it and find it, and then we're going to put it up here. So that piece of afikomen bread is going to be higher than all of us. What do you think that bread represents?
Body of Jesus.
Yeshua.
I'll say yeah.
It's the same thing. Very, very close. Okay, now does everyone have their second cup ready? This is the cup of instruction. We're not going to drink it just yet,
Didn't from the first.
but just make sure that you have some.
That was up
Does
here.
everybody have some in their glass? We're not going to drink it just yet, but make sure everybody has some.
Martin did it from the first.
All right, now this is called the telling.
I just,
Now, a lot of people will go through and talk about the whole story about how we became slaves in Egypt and were delivered.
Yeah.
Now, this is the way that a lot of people have done it for a long, long time, is they go to the book of Deuteronomy, where we are instructed, once we go into the promised land, to bring a sacrifice to God and say these words. I'm going to read them to you now. A wandering Aramean, or a person from Aram, this represents Jacob, or remember his name was changed to Israel. This wandering Aramean was my father, and he went down into Egypt. I'm on number 7, just in case you're wondering. So this wandering Aramean, Jacob or Israel, was my father. And he went down into Egypt and stayed there. And he was few in number. And there, over a period of 430 years, he became a mighty nation, great and mighty. And the Egyptians treated us harshly and humiliated us and laid on us hard labor. And then we cried to Yehovah, the Elohim of our fathers. And Yehovah heard our voice and saw how afflicted we were, and our hard work, and how we were being oppressed. And Yehovah brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with great deeds of terror, with signs and wonders. Now we come to the 10 plagues. Now, because we have our cups here in front of us, and everyone can take your napkin. If you have your napkin, you're going to need your napkin for this, and don't be afraid. We have plenty of napkins, okay?
Okay, can I have one?
We're gonna blow them
You may have a napkin, yes.
up. Are we gonna shoot?
No. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Yeah, if you need it, does anyone need a napkin? Okay, we've got some here. Okay, so here's a napkin for you. Just kind of fold it up, and now here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our little fingers. Does everyone have a little finger? No one is missing a little finger, huh? Okay, good.
I had it chopped off.
Now what we're going to do is this. Do you have a little finger? There it is. Okay, I see it. Good
Yeah,
job.
but then I can, because I spit on the other one.
Okay, here you go. Here you go.
Okay, so everyone has a napkin. Good job. Now this is what we're going to do with our 10 plagues, okay? We're going to diminish. Does anyone know what the word diminish means?
Lower.
Lower. Good job. Disappear. Kind of a good job, guys. We're going to take this cup that is our gladness, and we're going to diminish it. We're going to make it smaller.
By drinking it?
No. Not yet. And we're going to diminish or lower what is in our cups because our joy is not full. Our hearts are not full. It is because of the 10 plagues that fell on the Egyptians that our hearts are sad for them. Remember, our Elohim instructs us not to take joy in even the suffering of our enemies. And together we will dip our little finger into our wine glasses and remove 1 drop of our wine and put it on our napkins for each of the 10 plagues to diminish our cup. Are you ready? And as the drop drops on the napkin, we're going to say these 10 plagues. Ready? Okay. Blood.
Yep.
Next one is frost.
Okay, just
The next one is gnats. The next one is flies. The next one is wild beasts. The next one is boils. The next one is hail. They caught on fire.
Yep.
Next one is locusts that ate all the plants. The next one, darkness that fell on the land of Egypt for 3 days. And finally, death of the firstborn. We have taken 10 drops out of our glass to diminish our happiness because of the sadness of the Egyptians. Now we can take our cup of instruction and drink it.
And laugh.
L'chaim.
It's all blood. I tried to.
Excellent. Excellent. Now it is time to eat.
Thank
It
you.
is time to eat.
You have wine,
So what I'm going to do is Johnny and I are going to carve up some meat. You can take whatever you want from the center of the table, and Angela will direct you about all the side dishes, and we're going to come around with a big meat plate and get you whatever you want. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hold it. Angela's going to give you some instructions for where you can find this unleavened bread.
After this,
Follow Angela.
Give me a map.
hot or cold.
I need a map of your house.
Well, no, it's not that hard.
She didn't spread it out all over the place. You guys didn't be able to find it.
I will.
Past this point, but not in that room, not all the way upstairs.
Over here.
Right here.
Yes, and each of you needs to find 2 and then stop. 2 per kid.
Everybody has to find 2.
All done. Did you find 2?
Good for you.
Found 2.
All right.
Bingo.
Second.
You done.
You find 2?
Oh, one of them, bite you in the arm. Your elbow.
Go, hey, go. Go,
Okay,
go,
Hayden.
go,
I mean,
go,
Evan.
go,
You got 2?
go.
All right, wrap it up.
Let's burn it.
That way.
Okay,
You're warm. Oh, you're getting hot. You're on fire.
And the opposite side of the room. Almost. All right.
How many you got there, buddy?
Got 2?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
We've got 2.
Everybody, wait. Take your bags and crumple up the top so it's all sealed up in there. Good job. Okay, wait. Yep. Okay, ready? Here we go. We're going out to the fireplace.
There we go.
Wait, don't throw it in there yet.
There we
Don't
go.
throw it in there yet.
Wait, they want to see.
Yeah, throw it in there.
No marshmallows.
Choking on the smoke? All right, excellent. Now I will say the words while you guys throw your bags into the fire. Are you ready? Okay, ready, go. Blessed art thou, O Yehovah, our Elohim, who has commanded us to remove the leaven from our homes as a symbol of removing sin from our lives and pride. Look at it burn. Good job. Now don't do this unless you are very, very, very careful, like me. Make sure that all of the leaven gets burned up.
Mmm,
Good
toast.
job, guys.
Tell
Excellent.
Ellen why we didn't set stuff in there.
Why did we burn the leaven?
Symbolism.
What's the symbol of leaven?
Puffiness.
Pride, puffiness. Breaking the commandments is sin. Excellent. That represents our sin. We are cleaning the sin out of our lives and throwing it in there, burning it. Sometimes it's hiding, that's right. And the Spirit of God, by His instructions that we read each day in our Torah, teaches us where we can find the leaven to get it out of here. All right, cool. It's all burned up.